Please welcome Community Lead, Caruana Gatimu.
Hello, everyone. Hi, how is everyone doing? Was that an amazing keynote or what? Yes. We have so much more great content for you. And I just want to say how grateful we are that you all came out to Orlando to join us on this journey in the age of Copilot and AI. It's fantastic. This is the moment that I get to say thank you. Thank you to the organizers and the sponsors. Thank you to my team who is out here. Hello, my team. Are you out there? People work so hard to make sure that you have a fantastic experience here. Thank you so much for coming. And now we have something very special. I think we are going to give something away to a lucky person in this audience. Let me show you what that is. Here we go. The Fender. A Fender guitar signed by Jeff Teeper just yesterday, right here on this stage. And a lucky winner in this audience is going to win it. So I want you all to look under your seat. Look under your seat, and if you feel a piece of paper in there, don't rip it in half, but take it out. Somebody here should have a piece of paper under their seat. Does it say winner, winner? Winner, winner. Check it. Does it say? There you are. There you are. No, there it is. Fantastic. Come on up to the stage. Come on up. I love my job. This is so cool. And we will help you ship this home. Don't you worry. All right, everybody, give him a round of applause. What's your name?
Josh.
Josh, welcome. How far did you come to the show?
I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Excellent. That's excellent. Are you a musician by any chance?
I've got kids that are going to absolutely love to see this. So
that's fantastic. That is what this community is about. So thank you, Jeff, for signing it. And really, congratulations. That's excellent. All right, y'all have a great day. Bring your questions. Plug into the community. We're here to help. I'm going to take you backstage for a second. There's some extra stuff to do. And we will see y'all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Watch me.
Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now.
Please welcome Corporate Vice President, Office AI, Microsoft, Bobby Kishore.
Hello. Hello. Welcome back. I saw this video when the Super Bowl played, so I don't know how many of you had seen this before, but every time I see it, it shows how far we have come, but definitely how far we still have to go. It's simply amazing. My name is Bobby Kishore. I'm one of the engineering leaders at Microsoft working on Copilot. And we'll go through a few slides that are based on what you heard in the keynote. And then we will have a more detailed section on extensibility, admin controls, et cetera, et cetera. So let me pick up where Jeff left off. You have seen this slide, and not a day goes by when I get this question, so how are you different from ChatGPT? If you see the large language models on the left-hand side, that's where we leverage the GPT-4, as Jeff mentioned. But in addition to that, we add the latest and greatest web skills and web information. And the most important thing that we add is the Microsoft Graph. This is your data, the enterprise data that is used for grounding. And we bring all of these experiences in the everyday apps that you use, millions of users use. The next differentiator is our comprehensive approach of how we have built Copilot. Copilot is built on the same foundation of M365. So security, compliance, privacy, responsible AI, those are at the very, very core. As it relates to security, the thing that we say in our team is it is job number one. It is the singular non-negotiable. In some ways, it is like integrity. If you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. If you don't have security, nothing else matters. So security, along with compliance, privacy, and responsible AI, are the foundations on top of which Copilot experiences are built. So, what's happening under the hood? Let's take a peek.
Powered by what we call the Copilot system, a sophisticated processing and orchestration engine. It harnesses the power of three foundational technologies: the Microsoft 365 apps. That's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, and more. The Microsoft Graph. That's all your content and context, your emails, files, meetings, chats, and calendar. And a large language model, or LLM, a creative engine capable of parsing and producing human-readable text. All accessible through natural language. It starts with a prompt from you in an app. Copilot pre-processes the prompt through an approach called grounding. Put simply, grounding improves the quality of the prompt, so you get answers that are relevant and actionable. One of the most important parts of grounding is making a call to the Microsoft Graph to retrieve your business content and context. Copilot combines this user data from the graph with other inputs to improve the prompt. It then sends that modified prompt to the LLM. You may be familiar with what an LLM can do based on your experience with ChatGPT or Bing Chat. Copilot takes the response from the LLM and post-processes it. This post-processing includes additional grounding calls to the graph, responsible AI checks, security, compliance and privacy reviews, and command generation. Finally, Copilot sends a response to the user and commands back to the apps. Copilot iteratively processes and orchestrates these sophisticated services to produce a result that feels like magic.
On 11/1/2023, we launched Copilot to the world. And we released it in Teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Whiteboard, and Loop. And we released it on web, desktop, and mobile. And we have not stopped. We have continued to invest in Copilot, and we are bringing it to a whole slew of new apps. As you're seeing, Forms, Planner, OneDrive, Streams, Copilot Studio, Viva Engage, et cetera. Throughout this, one of the things that you will notice is that it is based on coherency, consistency, and familiarity. Those are the three pillars, if you would, that we are aiming for, so that wherever you go and use Copilot, it feels coherent, it feels familiar, and it is consistent. One of the things that we started doing as we were working on Copilot and infusing Copilot into our apps, we started wondering, there are certain user jobs that cut across applications, that there's data in various silos, that is there an opportunity for Copilot to come and give a new canvas where the user can just enter queries and have a comprehensive view from various data sources and answer the questions. And so with that, we came up with a new application called copilot.microsoft.com that is also available on mobile. It works on your web context, your work context. And so let's take a look on, about how that works. So here, I'm signed in with my user ID at work, and I'm in the web context. So one of the key things to notice here is that Because I'm signed in with my work context, there is end-to-end encryption. Microsoft does not look at your data, it's purely eyes off, and none of the data or the prompts that you enter are used to train the LLMs. Now to switch to the work tab. Rajesh Jha is our Executive Vice President of the division, so a lot of days I start with a query such as this, that what is the latest from Rajesh? And one of the things that you will see here is that Copilot is going and finding information from files, from Teams, chats, as well as emails that he would have sent. Now, one of the questions that I get asked also is that how do we make sure that Copilot does not inadvertently share data that somebody is not supposed to look at? So overall, Copilot respects the security principles, access privileges that have been set. Some companies may be behind on setting the right set of permissions on sites. So one of the things that we are introducing is restricted search in SharePoint. This allows administrators to restrict certain sites so that Copilot is not going to be able to look at them. So this is something that we are in the process of releasing soon. Now, show of hands, how many of you have used the mobile Copilot? That's quite a lot of you. Thank you. And for those who haven't, I would request that you should go install it. It's pretty fun. The thing that I love about the mobile Copilot is that it is a paradigm shift. For 20 years, we have been using search, and we are all familiar with the sea of blue links. I think after 20 years, it's time to retire the sea of blue links and get to interactive conversations with AI. And that is precisely what mobile Copilot gives me. So in the past, I would go to a Google search or a Bing search and say, what is the weather in Seattle today? And then I would have to find out more information, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I just say, is it a good day to go and have a bike ride? So from search to, instead of doing search and going through all the blue links, as I call them, I'm just able to engage in conversations with AI and be intent-led. So that's the magic of Copilot. Next, bringing it back to our everyday applications. So I'll give you an example here of Word. Before I show the demo, the key thing to remember is that the same three things of web data, enterprise grounding, as well as recommendations for how to improve a particular piece of content is the thing that Copilot allows you to do. So here, I start the journey with, I'm about to write a document. I'm asking for some suggestions to get started. This is what you will see here is web results. Next, you will see that I want to ground it with my enterprise content, so I will select a file. A lot of work is going on behind the scenes. And then when I'm done with that, I can ask Copilot to give me suggestions on how to improve the document. And here you are seeing the set of changes that it recommends. Now, one of the things that you will notice is that we are bringing both the chat experience as well as Copilot right front and center in the main canvas. So over a period of time, today the summary that you are seeing, which is in the chat pane, could very well be in the main canvas, and I should be able to ask a Q&A on the main canvas. So those are the type of user-centric, experience-led experiences that we are in the process of bringing. So with that, I'm going to invite my colleague, Dan Parrish, to the stage. He's going to talk about extensibility, admin controls, role-based, Copilot, et cetera, et cetera. Dan has been pivotal to bringing the Copilot experiences to market. So please join me in welcoming Dan.
My name's Dan Parrish, as Bobby said. I'm a group product manager who works on Copilot, in particular, bringing a lot of the shared experiences into Copilot across all the different Microsoft 365 apps. You know, I've actually been at Microsoft almost 18 years, but this is actually my first time at the M365 conference. And I gotta say, I feel like I was missing out because I have never been to a Microsoft conference where people are giving away Fender guitars. Congratulations, by the way. What you got to see so far is a bunch of all of the how Copilot works, all of the great capabilities that we're enabling across a whole set of different applications. But what I really want to talk about today is how you can take Copilot and have it work for you in your organization. How can you make sure that your deployments are successful? How can you make sure that the people that are getting Copilot are successful? How can you make sure that everyone's getting everything that they need out of this really new way of working, I think? So you should know, again, how Copilot works now. So what I'm going to do is dive into these 4 areas in particular. Extensibility, how you can extend and customize the capabilities of Copilot to really meet the needs of your specific organization. Role-based, which is more around, hey, all these different teams exist. There's a bunch of different verticals that exist within an organization. Some at Microsoft, obviously a bunch in yours. How can you take Copilot and really have it fit best for those roles through some Microsoft solutions and through some things that you can build yourself? Skilling, which is really about ensuring that people get the most out of Copilot and ensuring that all of you have all these tools and capabilities that you need to really make your deployment successful. And finally, administration, which is really about deploying, managing, and monitoring the use of Copilot. So let's jump right in. We're going to start by talking about extensibility, which one of my favorite topics, actually. So as you know, Copilot, and as you've seen, Copilot on its own, super powerful. Just being able to take the power of the large language models combined with the internet, all of the up-to-date web data, your graph, so your personal corporate data, and of course the power of all of our Microsoft 365 apps gives you the ability to create, command, summarize, and more across all of these different applications. With extensibility, though, you can take Copilot even further. You can expand on its skills and its knowledge, and you can build richer solutions that really help solve specific needs. And when we're talking about extensibility, really we're talking about 2 main things. Plugins, there's a little box around it, which really help you extend Copilot's skills and show up right in line with chat, and graph connectors, which really allow you to bring your own data sources into the Microsoft Graph that then Copilot can leverage in really amazing ways. So let's start by talking about graph connectors, because to me they're really the foundation of what we're talking about when we're talking about extensibility. The great thing about graph connectors is that there's really no development required for them at all. They're super easy to set up. And like I mentioned, they allow you to bring your own corporate data into the graph that then all of the capabilities we talked about earlier, the LLM, the web data, your corporate data, all these things can come together to allow Copilot to reason over them all together and give you pretty incredible answers. They're also, of course, because we're Microsoft, integrated into all of your security, compliance centers, everything else, and they'll enable you to get these even deeper and more rich connections. Even better, though, we offer over 150 graph connectors out of the box. That means that if you have data in any of these locations, in fact, you may even see some on the screen where you're like, I have data in here. We have them out of the box, ready to go. You can just plug and play, get that data into your graph, and have Copilot start leveraging it. And there's way more than that. There's only 39 logos on this slide. I know because I counted. But we offer 120 plus more. But if you have data in Oracle, SAP, Jira, any of these places, we can make it super easy to connect that, bring it into the graph. Let's watch a quick video that sort of shows what that actually looks like when you have that data brought into the graph and what Copilot can do with it.
One of the easiest ways to add enterprise knowledge to Copilot for Microsoft 365 is using a graph connector. We offer out-of-the-box graph connectors to popular enterprise data sources at no additional cost. In this demo, I will show you how easy it is to connect a Confluence instance and index the content to graph. Just provide a friendly name for this connection, and then provide the Confluence instance name and login information. With that, I can publish the connection. Once the connection is published and the content is indexed, I can begin leveraging my graph connector. Now that my connection state shows as ready, I can head to Copilot for Microsoft 365 and inquire about topics such as information on lung disease. Copilot retrieves pertinent results from my Confluence space, even though the terms lung or disease aren't explicitly mentioned. This shows the power of deep retrieval created by our semantic index. Not only do the results honor source system's permissions, they are also personalized based on the user's interaction with the content to create the most relevance for that user.
How awesome was that? To me, it really just shows the power of these graph connectors and Copilot. I mean, I work on this every day, and I'm still amazed that we can just connect this data, the LLM, how the whole system works, can really pull it together and reason over it and provide these amazing answers just by adding these additional data sources into your graph. Copilot's automatically able to grab them, understand them, and reason over them, because really the more data Copilot has access to, the better the answers it's able to provide. Next, I want to talk about plugins, which are actually my personal favorite version of extensibility, because what happens is they actually get integrated directly into the chat experience. They let you pull from your line of business applications, and even better, they let you take action on them, because the plugin itself has control over what it actually displays, and you can add extra commands and capabilities within there as well, which you'll see in just a second. Plugins are available in copilot.microsoft.com today, and they're also coming to our M365 applications like Word and PowerPoint very soon. And it gives you capabilities to do things like what you can see at the top here. Like you can say, hey, what ticket did Kat assign me yesterday? And Jira can respond to that and actually give you an answer with its own custom plugin, own custom capabilities that you can really drill into. And even better, we have Power Platform connectors to help you connect your plugins to also your own data sources. If you thought 150 graph connectors was awesome, we have over 1,200 of these. So, that's a lot more. And even better, all of these are fully integrated into Copilot Studio, which you would have seen a little bit earlier, and I'm going to show a little bit more in depth again in just a moment, so that you can actually really take all these things and connect them all together super easily with little to no code at all. And one of the differences here is while graph connectors take the data and inject it into your Microsoft Graph, Power Platform connectors are much more on demand. They're about when you do a query, they're about having the plugin then go access that information, surface it to you so that you can act on it. So it's also like a different way of interacting with the data depending what you want to do. So let's take a look at plugins in action and what you can actually build with these. You're going to see a retail assistance plugin being shown here. That shows a whole bunch of different capabilities that can be enabled with this extensibility model.
Daniela starts her day in Teams, where she stays on top of the performance of the stores in her portfolio by asking Copilot for up-to-date analysis from the Retail Assist app. The app returns data about each of the stores, showing their sell-through rate, average inventory on hand, and more. Daniela can go straight into the Retail Assist app to drill into a particular metric in the context of the full app experience. She can also take this adaptive card and share it in the body of an email in Outlook if she wants to start some collaboration. Daniela wants to assess the stores that are falling below their daily targets. She asks to see a view of those stores that have been missing the average daily targets over a particular period. Copilot returns a subset of her Tier 1 stores filtered to the low performers. Now Daniela wants to drill into one particular metric, so she chooses to open this view in Retail Assist to take a closer look. She clicks on the adaptive card, and she sees the store performance dashboard opened inside a modal in Teams. Daniela is able to dig deeper without context switching. From a developer point of view, Copilot is deep linking to an embedded web view of their application. Daniela asks Copilot for a little more analysis. For 2 of the lowest performing stores, what was the sell-through rate of each particular product line in Q1? Copilot queries the data from Retail Assist, presenting it in a chart. Daniela asks Copilot to draft an email to the store managers, including the best practices that others have been following. Data can come from SharePoint, Excel, and more. This can include first and third-party data sources. Daniela, a retail manager using Copilot as the orchestration layer, has been able to stay in the flow of business and query systems of record. This is one of many scenarios to empower our retail customers.
All right, I'm going to try not to overuse words like awesome and amazing, but I still think that is pretty cool. So what you saw there is, again, we were able to take a plugin, have it connect to your own data sources in your own ways, and then add additional functionality on top, which we showed is really drilling into the data there. And in addition, because Copilot understands your chat history, it's able to generate responses and can produce content based on what your plugin was showing as well, like generating that email for Outlook. If you want to learn more about all of the extensibility that we've seen here, there's a talk that's coming up with a name, I'm going to have to read it because it's very long, Enhance Your Business Competitiveness with Microsoft 365 Copilot Extensibility. But it's a mouthful, but it makes it easier to look up because it's a really long title. If you want to learn more about this, I definitely suggest that you go check out that session. It's going to provide a lot more detail. Now, I want to show you Copilot Studio again, because what you're going to see here, now that we've talked through all of this, is you're going to see the creation of a plugin, leveraging Power Platform connectors, and pulling it all together. So hopefully all of this grounding helps you really understand what you're seeing here, what you saw a sneak peek of a little bit earlier.
Copilot Studio is a low-code tool that enables you to create new Copilot experiences across Microsoft 365 through connectors and plugins, all governed through IT. Let's take a common example, travel budgets and expenses, a process that is unique to every organization. Here we are in Copilot Chat. You've seen Copilot quickly and easily summarize documents, like this travel policy. But what if you wanted to know more? Like how much of your team's travel budget is left for the rest of the quarter? Copilot will find information from the Microsoft Graph, but that's only going to get you so far, because the data you're looking for resides in a system of record. With Copilot Studio, you can customize your Copilot to access data from first and third-party sources. Just start by giving your topic a description for what you want it to do. In this case, providing richer details on expense questions. Copilot Studio allows you to tap into any data source, including websites, Azure services, and coming very soon, you can even access and use OpenAI's GPTs from right within the Copilot Studio. And with over 1,100 out-of-the-box options to connect, you can steer Copilot to the right information, in this case, SAP. Since the travel policy is on SharePoint, you can connect that too, so Copilot can keep track of any policy updates. As you can see, we're giving Copilot instructions to let the model know how to generate responses. Once you've completed your customization, you just hit publish. And the best part, IT only needs to build it once and it can be reused across the organization, and you can manage it all in one central place. Now let's go back to the chat to see how Copilot handles your question. You use the same prompt, and just like that, your new customized Copilot gives you the answer you were looking for. Now you know exactly how much budget is remaining. And thanks to the data you just connected, you also know that any new travel needs to be booked before December 30th to stay within policy. The possibilities for what you can create here are truly limitless.
All right. So, next topic I want to talk about is building more role-based solutions. So these are more focused on helping you solve for specific roles or verticals within your organization. A typical organization has a ton of somewhat specialized roles. Microsoft too has, all of these, and I bet you most of your companies do as well. Copilot out of the box can bring a ton of value to all of these. But And in addition, you can also use graph connectors, plugins, these Power Platform connectors to really ensure that each role has everything that they need to be successful. But you can also create or leverage and onboard some other experiences as well to really help dive deep into some of these verticals. Microsoft, for instance, we've announced both a Copilot for Sales and a Copilot for Finance. Copilot for Sales is broadly available today, and Copilot for Finance is in preview. What I wanted to do is show you a sneak peek, or not a sneak peek, show you a video of Copilot for Sales so you can see what these really sort of like vertically integrated solutions look like. Again, a lot of what you're going to see here, you can actually go and build and extend on your own, or of course, you can get this capability yourself.
Roddy, a seller for Van Arsdal, receives an email from Eric Ishida, a longtime client from Contoso. In the email, Eric expresses clear interest in their new beverage line. Without leaving Outlook, Roddy uses Copilot for Sales to quickly create the opportunity in Salesforce. He then asks Copilot to find the recommended products most likely to work for this deal, along with more information about product differences. Next, Roddy asks Copilot to generate an email to follow up. The email not only delivers a personalized response to Eric, but also suggests available times to meet. After reviewing the email, Roddy sends it to Eric. Great news! Eric immediately accepts, and Roddy gets a recommended action to book the meeting. Copilot reduces prep time for the meeting with a generated document that shows what was last discussed, along with all the latest activities and committed action items in an easy-to-read Word document. During the meeting with Eric, Copilot detects a question and serves up information so Roddy can respond on the spot. After the meeting, Copilot generates a recap summarizing the highlights and actions from the call. Roddy can quickly update the opportunity based on new details. With Copilot for Sales, Roddy is substantially more effective at meeting his sales goals.
Pretty amazing, right? And obviously that's a great solution for any company that really relies on its Salesforce and sellers. But the great thing is, like I mentioned, you can build many of those components yourselves, leveraging the capabilities that we talked about earlier. Taking graph connectors, having them inject more data into your graph, using plugins to take action on specific items, or of course you could take advantage of a fully baked out-of-the-box solution like Copilot for Sales. Next, I wanted to talk about skilling, which is really all the resources, all the help guides, all the deployment guides, everything that we offer to help make all of the people in your organization getting Copilot successful and help to make sure that all of you are successful in that deployment process as well. We're really helping move people from what I like to call sort of a command-based world of working, where you go and click on all the little individual items and you had to remember the series of actions to accomplish a task, to this new intent-based way of working, where you express through natural language what it is you're trying to do, and Copilot can actually help you accomplish that. But that's a big that's a big switch for people. So to start, I want to talk about sort of what we've seen inside of Microsoft. And the first thing we really noticed is that it's very important to deploy across entire teams. You really need to be allocating Copilot to entire teams within a specific business function, even if that team is small. Because you want to sort of avoid distributing these licenses too thinly to enable people to share insights, to learn from each other, and really create a multiplicative effect as they learn how to work in this new world. Internally, the first two teams that we deployed to were our sales team and our support team. And you can see some of the impact that just giving them Copilot had. On the seller side, people were saving over 90 minutes of time per week. 83% of them were saying that they felt more productive, and 67% were saying that they were able to spend more time with customers. On the support side, we saw a 12% reduction in case handling time and a 10% boost in case resolution. All of these are pretty amazing statistics just by enabling Copilot within these teams, and then of course going through some of the learning resources that I'll talk about in a minute. We also, though, learned a lot through our early access program, which I should first start by just explaining what that actually was. So the early access program for us with Copilot was really a new way of working with customers. We onboarded a whole bunch of companies before we even shipped and worked hand in hand with them to deploy, research, learn, iterate, so that we could make sure that what we delivered, as Bobby mentioned, on November 1st, was ready to go for all of you. And through that, we learned really these four main things. The first is the same one that we discovered internally at Microsoft. Deploying across entire teams, even if they're small, is super important and really helps make your whole Copilot deployment go much better because, again, people are able to talk and converse and share. The second, which is very related, is that it's really important to enable people to share best practices with each other. There's a social aspect to Copilot adoption because it is this new way of working and it is this new capability that people can leverage. We want to enable people to learn from each other and help them create new habits. And we have capabilities in some of our tools like Copilot Lab, which I'll show in just a minute, to really help with that process as well. Third, we found that having a senior leader really lead the Copilot deployment and really sort of like serve as an example for everyone really helped make the rollout successful. We want a senior leader who really sees Copilot as a new way of working and not just as some other tool. We also want them to be an advocate for it within their organization. A great example is, hey, if you're in a team meeting, you really want, the senior leader can say, hey, we don't need to take notes in this meeting. Teams can just summarize it for us. We can send those action items out after. You want someone who's able to say, yes, we can embrace AI in our organization and leverage it to change how we've worked, historically. Because really that's where you're going to get the time saving and the impact from it as well. And finally, it's really important to just learn as you go. You want to set goals, measure, and encourage feedback. It's also important to just have a big enough rollout that even if you are only getting maybe like 20% of responses to your polls, which is probably actually pretty good, you feel good about the data that you're receiving and that you're able to act on it. When we think about the skilling experiences that we have a whole range of them essentially. The first three on the left here are really curated experiences for the people in your company to leverage. They're there to help people understand Copilot, figure out how to use it in their day-to-day work and get help if they need it. And the fourth one, the Copilot Success Kit, is really for all of you. It's the tools that you need to help make your Copilot deployment successful. So on the left, we have the Copilot Scenario Library, which really enables people to discover use cases by role and find a bunch of day-in-the-life examples that they can actually go and leverage. It's a great place for people to go, figure out, hey, what do other people like me potentially do? How can I start using this? How can I get some quick wins from Copilot? Second is Copilot Lab, which I referenced earlier, and which I'll show in just literally the next slide, which is our location to find, learn, save, access all sorts of different prompts available in a bunch of different permutations as well. And then, of course, we have our Microsoft Learn site as well, which is our free site for on-demand learning, skilling, training experiences, where people can go to learn and go through a bunch of tutorials as well. And then for all of you, we have the Copilot Success Kit, which is our one-stop shop for all of the implementation guides, technical readiness kits, training guides, enablement guides, everything you need to make Copilot successful in deploying in your organization. So let's start, like I just mentioned, by showing a couple of the experiences for the people in your company. We'll start with Copilot Lab, which, as you can see here, is available, shows prompts across all of your different applications, gives examples of prompts, has tools and articles to help you understand how to use Copilot effectively, and answers to common questions. And then, of course, on this Prompts to Try tab, you can see a whole bunch of prompts broken out by app that you can filter, and even by category. So you can figure out if, you can see prompts around creation, editing, asking questions, understanding, catching up on things, all these different types of things. There's a whole array of prompts that are available for you. And because we continue to expand on the capabilities of Copilot Lab, And like I mentioned earlier, we found that social aspect so important. What we've added into Copilot Lab here is the ability to bookmark and share prompts as well. So in this case, I did a prompt. I thought it was super good. So I'm going to go and save that prompt to my own personal repository of Copilot Lab prompts. I can then, of course, go view that in Copilot Lab, and I can actually share it as well. And when I share it through our typical sharing experience that we've got here, the receiver is going to get an email, which you can see them arriving here. They can then go click on that button and try that prompt out for themselves. So again, a great way to encourage that social interaction, that multiplicative effect within an organization. We also have the Microsoft Copilot Academy, which is really our centralized location to help with all of the basics of Copilot at work. It has a bunch of structured content that's easily consumable learning paths that are all curated by Microsoft experts. And the goal is really to help people develop those AI interaction skills, and we think that this is a great resource for everyone. And then, for everyone in this room, we also have the Microsoft Copilot Dashboard, which is really a purpose-built tool to help you prepare your Copilot rollout, to help you understand and drive usage, adoption, and to measure the impact of that rollout as well. You can see here on the Readiness tab that there's 4 different items that are called out in particular. Your prerequisite licenses that you've got, how many Copilot licenses you've purchased, how many employees are actually licensed for Copilot, and then how many active users you actually have. You can also see how many people, and I find this part really awesome actually, how many people in your organization are using key Microsoft 365 applications that we have Copilot enabled for, and then research based on, a bunch of research that we've done, obviously, that shows you what you should expect in terms of returns from enabling Copilot for those users. Now what I want to talk about is administration. So you've got Copilot, you've seen through Viva Insights that, like I just showed, where it can benefit your organization, and now you want to go ahead and actually deploy it. What do you do? Well, don't worry, we've got you with the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. In here, we have a dedicated Copilot admin dashboard where you can see a whole bunch of different capabilities. For instance, you can see learning resources and what people are actually leveraging there. You can see the licenses that you have and that you've actually assigned. And of course, you can see updates from Microsoft in our message center. And at the bottom, there's additional resources for all of you as well to help make sure that you're successful during this Copilot rollout. And of course, we have settings. You want settings? We've got settings. Settings are really the thing that enables you to take advantage of Copilot and how it gets deployed and services within your organization. Some of these toggles are going to be tenant-wide, but many are actually available on a per-user basis. For example, plugin availability is a great example to really help you fine-tune access and permissions to a lot of the capabilities that I showed earlier. I also want to take a moment here to mention transcripts, which we know are one of the big questions that a lot of companies have been having, and where we found that there's really no one solution that works for everyone. Over the next few months, we're actually rolling out more options and more settings for admins to manage who can transcribe, how long their transcripts are retained, and how that transcript is managed afterwards, everything from views to edits to downloads. And we're also working on a white paper that we'll distribute that contains all of these lessons and how you can leverage all of these capabilities as well. Woo! And then, of course, the admin experience has a usage dashboard as well. So you can stay on top of that usage across all of your different Microsoft 365 applications. You can see here how it's showing enabled users next to actually active users. So you can see how you're doing in terms of driving that usage across your organization. And under the covers, we of course have audit logs and all of the other types of things that you'd expect so that you can really go dive in deep if you really need to. But in addition, we have, as Jeff showed earlier, this sort of like double-click dashboard to get even more information about how Copilot's being used. This is the Copilot dashboard powered by Viva Insights. This shows not just the total number of users by every app, but actually which specific capabilities they're using in those applications and to what degree they're actually leveraging them. And those are available both globally and you'll see here per user, so that you can see what the overall impact to your company is, and you can see on a per user basis how much they're actually really diving into it. We have this dashboard available internally at Microsoft, and I think the insights that it drives are really fascinating, and we actually talk about them all the time. So I highly encourage you all to check this out as well. And to help with that, starting in Q3 of this calendar year, this Copilot dashboard is going to be available to all Copilot for Microsoft 365 customers at no additional cost. It won't require essentially a Viva Insights license as well. And if you want to learn more about and dive deeper, spend essentially a whole hour talking about all of these admin experiences, I definitely advise you to take a look at the What's New in the SharePoint Admin Center Copilot and Beyond talk that's coming up soon. So with that, I think you're ready. We talked about extensibility and how you can use it to harness the power that Copilot gives you out of the box by extending and customizing it. We talked about these role-based solutions that you can either create or leverage Microsoft solutions in this space. We talked about skilling, which is everything you need to ensure that people and you are successful as you roll out Copilot. And then we talked about the administration experience, that is how you can actually deploy, manage, and monitor your rollouts. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I hope you're all excited. I know that we are, and I can't wait for you to get value from from Copilot for Microsoft 365. If you have a Microsoft rep, they have a bunch of resources that they can help you with, or you can get started at getting access to everything I showed here at adoption.microsoft.com/Copilot. And if you want even more depth in how Copilot works, check out the aptly named How Copilot for Microsoft 365 Works talk, which gets into even more detail around a lot of the stuff, some of the things that I showed here, and how Copilot itself works overall. I think that's going to be an awesome talk. So that's it for me. I hope you all have a great day, a great conference, and thank you very much.